The Knowledge to Action framework, developed by Graham and colleagues in 2006, provides a conceptual model for understanding the comprehensive, dynamic, and cyclical process of knowledge translation in healthcare. Within the center of the Knowledge to Action cycle is the knowledge funnel, which depicts the creation of knowledge. It is proposed that at each level of the funnel, knowledge becomes increasingly more useful to end users, including tailoring the knowledge to researchers, healthcare providers, policymakers, and the public throughout each stage. The knowledge funnel is subdivided into first, second, and third generation knowledge. First generation knowledge is primarily derived from research studies. Second generation knowledge involves the synthesis of these findings, and third generation knowledge represents tools and products. The 7 action phases within the cycle can occur sequentially or simultaneously and can be influenced by the knowledge creation phases at any point in the process. The first steps are to identify a problem that needs addressing and identifying, and then reviewing and selecting the knowledge or research relevant to the problem. This is also referred to as identifying the knowledge to action gap. Is there an area of clinical practice that is not currently optimized or aligned with current best research evidence? Ideally, identifying gaps in healthcare is a dynamic dialogue between various stakeholders, including researchers, clinicians, and patients, who can work collaboratively to determine where current practice is not optimized or reflective of the best available evidence. This process may be spurred by newly developed clinical practice guidelines for a particular condition or a newly published systematic review of evidence. Next, researchers and healthcare decision-makers must work collaboratively to adapt the identified knowledge or research to the local context. The uptake of evidence at the point of care is more challenging than simple dissemination of evidence to knowledge users. This may involve group discussions regarding the usefulness of the knowledge to a particular healthcare setting and making certain adjustments to ensure that the knowledge can be delivered within the context of the local healthcare setting to which it will be applied. The actual utilization and uptake of the knowledge we wish to implement can be influenced by barriers relating to the knowledge itself, the end users, being patients or clinicians, or the setting or context in which the knowledge is to be utilized. As such, an assessment of potential barriers is a key step to identify potential roadblocks in an effort to preemptively address barriers or build processes to optimize knowledge uptake. Assessment of barriers is well suited to a qualitative research study exploring how the proposed innovation may impact patients or clinicians involved in the process. A qualitative interview-based study or a formal or informal focus group may provide one method to identify barriers in the planning stages prior to implementation. The next step is to select, tailor, and implement interventions to promote the use of knowledge. In general, change is more likely to occur with more planned and systematic interventions. A big part of this process involves tailoring the intervention to address the barriers identified in the previous step to ensure that the knowledge is implemented in the intended fashion. Barriers may exist in relation to the potential adopters, patients or clinicians, including attitudes, beliefs, habits, or skills, or at the organizational level or system delivery. One example of tailoring knowledge uptake at an organizational level would be reminder systems built into electronic medical systems to encourage appropriate uptake of a new guideline by healthcare professionals. The final stages of the knowledge to action cycle encompass monitoring knowledge use, evaluating outcomes of using the knowledge, and promoting ongoing knowledge use, thus sustaining the intervention. When we consider these phases, this is yet another place where quantitative and qualitative research become extremely useful. A KT intervention may be implemented in the previous stage and monitored and evaluated via quantitative or qualitative measures. The results of these research studies may inform efforts to promote the sustained application of the new knowledge product or tool in clinical practice, or promote its widespread use in other areas that have not yet adopted the innovation.